As we hit our second week of Hytale coming into early access, I've put about 50 hours into the game. Built a castle, then rebuilt it 5 times, explored biomes, pretty much everything I wanted to do in this massive world. But the question now stands, is there enough content to keep you playing beyond that time? Well, in this video today, I'm going to give you my impressions of the game after those 50 or so hours. And if this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge in my videos. So with that being said, let me just break down this entire video. Hytale has a lot going for it. You have all these different weapons you can use, each one offering you a different combat style. There's a ton of different bricks, which affords you so many different ways to make your buildings. Honestly, it's almost overwhelming with how much variety there is within the building capacity. There's a magic system with even more on the way. There's tons of different monsters, biomes, mounts. Truly, the vastness of the world feels great and exciting. Developers have rolled out a big quality of life improvement within the first week, with another one due out this week adding necromancy books. So there's lots of life from the devs with an impressive cadence. But with all that being said, I'm not going to be playing Hytale anymore. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, I think it's great. There's so much breadth to this game. And with those different biomes, there's so much monster density. The game does feel a bit aimless right now because we're playing the sandbox mode and not the adventure mode, most of which has a set narrative. So when that mode launches, either at 1.0 or later during early access, I don't want to be so burnt out on playing the game that I can't enjoy the game in its entirety. Let me use an example. Valheim and Enshrouded are both coming out of early access this year. I've put 300 hours into Valheim across the COVID times. As much as I want to go play Valheim at 1.0, I'm already mentally dreading it. Enshrouded, on the other hand, I've put around 50 or 60 hours, explore the beginning mechanics, and I'm excited to jump into a 1.0 experience where I can play a lot of those fleshed out systems. In short, Hytale is in a great place. It's surprisingly stable, relatively bug-free, and looks to be already expanding its content offerings a mere 2 weeks out. I think it's absolutely worth the price of entry and playing for a weekend or two with friends, but I'd caution you from spending too much time and burning yourself out. But that's the too long didn't watch this entire video. Honestly, I'm just going to be rambling about other topics related to the state of the game. I'll flesh out some of the points mentioned, but if that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. You can navigate ahead to any part of the video that interests you the most using the chapters about the timeline in the description. And if you are heading out and you found the information in this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those helps me out in a huge way. Let's get started here on Hytale. After 20 hours, is there enough? So loading in here to the game, and I'm doing a live stream, so this is just recorded live. I'm playing around in one of the biomes, and this I think is one of the biggest strengths coming into a discussion about the difference between this game and a Minecraft. Falling into that crack would have really made this video a lot more anger filled. All sorts of stuff like that. And it kind of comes into a conversation as well about the early access, right? Like, how does all of this really kind of play out? How much content is there? Is there enough? All those things. Well, here's just one of the biomes, and this is like the Cinder Wastes, I believe is what it's called. And it's right out here. And then you have another one right over here. Don't worry, we're going to go through this one. And then there's another one over here. And there's the home biome is 3 biomes removed from this. So the game operates by giving you this simple kind of, this is what you can see. This is your vision, more or less. And this is all you get to see. I can't see where I've come from. I cannot see where I'm going, which I think the where I'm going part is really cool. I think where I'm coming from, that's kind of a little bit of an issue I have right now in the game in its current state. Is I'd like to see something I could track back other than just simply putting torches everywhere, which, I mean, you definitely can't do. So I'm going to be heading back that way. I'm going to turn my UI back on. There we go. And oh man, I am got to get out of here. But I think right now there's so much to do in the game from an actual sandbox perspective that I think it's going to be really easy for a lot of people to get lost. And I think that that's good, right? Like, you want people to be able to play and have a good time with the sandbox. And I think that I'm going to get killed here by doing this right now, but we'll see how this goes. But that is kind of where it ends. The sandbox is really the only thing that you can do right now, because adventure mode is not in the game. And adventure mode, I think, is a lot of the RPG aspects that myself and a lot of people were really looking forward to with this game. And man, navigating this while talking and it's nighttime and I have a light that's in my eyes is just a terrifying situation. And I've gone to the other side of the continent that I didn't want to go to, but that's okay. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that horses are like speedboats. So you can really have fun jumping through a lot of this game. And I think that that kind of lends itself to a conversation about, do you want to jump into an early access for a survival game where you will primarily be building? Even though these biomes exist, these biomes seem to be, it's not that they're not popular. I mean, you saw things up there, but they don't seem to be tuned. And what I mean by that is, does my horse just not have stamina? What I mean by that is, I'm using iron and copper items. If I take a look over here, you can see I've got iron and copper armor. I've got iron and copper pickaxes and hatchets and daggers, and I'm doing just fine on these pretty advanced seeming biomes. So I don't know if they've built in a scale to biomes just yet. Like if you think of a Valheim, you start in this really beautiful meadow, foresty area, and that is your intro biome. Your first material source plus your second material source can function just fine. And then you go into like the darker, scarier wooded biome, and then you go into the swamp biome, and then you go into the snow biome. And with each progression point of those biomes, you also need to progress up your material, or else you can't compete in that biome. You can't harvest materials, you can't kill creatures, anything like that. So I think currently the game just doesn't have that tuning turned on. I can fight anything that I've experienced so far with the same amount of ease, or at least the same amount of difficulty as I've experienced in other portions of the game. So let me go ahead and swim across here. It's worth noting too, underneath me is the ocean, and the ocean is its own biome in and of itself. You can't seem to explore it right now because there's probably some sort of diving apparatus or equipment that I've not been able to unlock, or it's not in the game yet. But they have promised that the water biome is going to share Subnautica levels of exploration. And you can see like there's continental shelves, and then there's the actual like deep portion of the ocean. And even just looking down there, like we came off of this coast over here in the middle of the stream, and when you look down, you can kind of just vaguely see this stuff, right? You could see a ruined castle down there. So it was cool. It's like, oh man, there's like an Atlantis down at the bottom of this water biome. So there's plenty to explore and there's plenty to get into. And I think that's going to be the biggest driving force right now. What I'm worried about is I don't want to put so much time exploring all these locations and then just have them feel like old hat when the game releases, hey, we've expanded these biomes, we've made these biomes more difficult, we've done enhanced combat in the game as a whole, whatever it is. I don't want those places to feel not as fun to me. And I think that is why, if I'm to bring this whole video to a summarization, that is why, oh, what the hell popped up over there and there. That is why I'm slowing my gameplay of this game down. This is my first time actually into a lot of these biomes, and we've just been exploring them on stream today, seeing what would happen if we just went in one direction. And just to kind of reaffirm my point, remember I said we started over here. Now I'm starting to see the direction of where we're going. So this, I just remember we went southwest, so I'm just going northeast. So this shows you that there is plenty to jump into, all these creatures here. And they've already added a whole new subset of creatures into the game. In the very first patch, a week after the game came out, they added in dinosaurs to the underground jungle locations, which is even worth noting that there's tons of like, I don't know if I'd call it a sub biome, but there's strata within these biomes in that there are jungles underneath the Badlands here. Oh, what the hell is that? It scared the crap out of me. There's jungles, there's forests underneath, hidden underground in a lot of these different biomes that you get to experience, and you get to kind of see how it plays out for whatever you're doing. So I still, like, we're coming up to this other volcanic biome. I still have to go I have to go through this biome to get back to my home, which is over here. So I think right now if all you want out of a game like this is to just simply explore, you don't really care about any material progression. You don't care about, I guess when I say progression, I feel like that term attaches itself to a certain level of satisfaction as you get from material to material, location to location. And it's not that you don't get that, it's that it feels kind of hollow right now because the game has just not been tuned to a lot of it. I don't want to jump up this, then fall into a lava lake, and then die on camera, on stream. All my friends will laugh at me and I won't be able to go to anyone's birthday parties. So I'm going to go over here. So we've been able to get adamantite, cobalt, thorium. Those are the more advanced ores. Now, it might make you think you can simply jump across the text, but you cannot. It will require the previous metal bars to make the next metal bars. So you kind of make an alloy of sorts. And in addition to that too, you'll have to upgrade all of your workbenches. So there is still a progression locked into the game. It's just material based solely, and but it's again very hollow. You can just simply I'm sorry, I said bars. You need the bars to unlock the upgrades of the workshops. You don't necessarily need them to make the bars respective. So what I mean is, you don't need cobalt, you don't need thorium ingots to make cobalt ingots. You need to upgrade your workbench using thorium ingots, which then allow you to make cobalt ore ingots. So that was a little confusing, sorry about that. So the progression is just a little shallow right now. And again, I think that that's totally fine. I think that that'll get fixed in due time pretty quickly. And we'll be in a place where it's, oh man, this is spooky and scary. Oh, I wish you could see. There's these cool trees that you can kind of go through their like branch systems, and it's really, really fun. So that's how the progression feels right now. That's how the game feels right now. That's how the density of the game feels. There's plenty of monsters to kill. There's plenty of biomes to explore, but it feels like once you get to iron, you're capped out. Like you can compete all the way across the board. You can simply make hey, I'm on iron, I can now fight everything that I've experienced. There might be super hard bosses or monsters that I've not experienced just yet, and those might require the more advanced materials, but so far it's been pretty flat once you get to a point. And again, that'll be part of that early access rollout. So let's then talk about that upgrade path, that rollout path, and what kind of timeline we're looking at. So just to kind of reinforce that notion about progression here. So you see, we'll go iron into thorium and cobalt will exist in the same level. And then we go into adamantite is on the 3rd tier, and then mithril's in the 3rd tier. To upgrade, we would need, okay, in this case, we're going to need medium leather, and then it's going to require the previous tiers, what are these things called? Material to upgrade. So I feel like I was a little confusing on that. I just want to really clarify how that works. You'll use 2 for 1 tier, 2 for the 2nd tier, then another 2 for the 3rd tier, and you'll use the previous tier's materials to upgrade into that. So I can't make thorium just yet, despite the fact that I got tons of thorium ore and tons of adamantite and tons of, well, some cobalt. I need to get enough medium leather to then upgrade my workbench. And the same thing is true here for the anvil. This is going to require all those progression points. And you can see too, there's plenty of really cool looking items in this game. And they have tons of cool applications. Like all the weapons play differently. Like the daggers are a little overpowered right now because you can do mondo damage and then it leaps you backwards. So you can just pretty much like shank everything and not have to worry about it. Or over here with the workbench, you can see that the really cool mithril helmet. The armor looks really great. Even just the adamantite and cobalt looks cool. The gauntlets. And even in this, the greaves. And to show you the shields are there as well. So there's a lot of really cool progression for the gear and everything, but I just wanted to explain how that actual progression works. I feel like I messed it up a little bit. And just to kind of reinforce some different biomes, this is an underground forest. So we're pretty far underground, pretty far away from the starting point, and this is what an underground forest can look like. As you can see, it even has water down here and everything. A bunch of crystal caverns all over the place. So it's definitely a unique situation. And more evidence of really cool biomes and everything that are just underground. You have this really cool, like, prehistoric jungle forest thing, and you can see those are pterodactyls. I can't really see any other things out there where we're still building a hole down there. Let's see. Yeah. Look at my friend going crazy. It's ramshackle as all hell. What a terrible individual. Oh, a disgusting human. But anyway, yeah, we've got this really cool example of just another biome that exists underneath the world. And I have no idea if there's only a few of them, if there's only like, hey, there's like 3 or 4. I don't know if more are coming. So all that action is just to kind of give you a sense of the discovery of all these biomes. So as far as the upgrade path or how quickly they've rolled out a lot of updates, within the first handful of days, they pushed out a pretty good update for Hytale that had just some quick responses to community feedback. So one of the biggest ones is, and this is the thing that people were modding into the game, is that all of your crafting stations can leverage any of these chests as long as they're within a certain range. Now, prior to that patch, that range was about 7 tiles, 6 or 7, and then it was like 4 or 5 tiles up. Well, they changed it to be double that, so you could actually not need to install a mod. You can go, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, now 10. So this chest can access all that. And it now can go actually 1, 2, 3, because there's that 4th style one for the chest. So it can go out to here and still access all of the crafting that I've created in this little alcove over here. So if I come up to this workbench, you can see that it's got this little symbol telling me that you don't have, telling me that this is going to be pulled from my chests right there, right? So it's like, okay, I've got the ingots for this, or I've got the ingots for this, or the plant fiber or whatever. This is pulling from chests for me. That wasn't working before. So that's a quick quality of life improvement. Like I said, they added the dinosaurs to the game, to the underground jungle. They already added some additional well, not necessarily cosmetics, but ways you can customize your avatar. So that's a lot of really cool stuff that they've just put in the game right out the gate without any kind of craziness attached to it. And I think that that kind of speaks volumes, right? Like, if they're quick to respond to community feedback positively for the things that is being made into mods or are being made into mods, I think that speaks very well. And you can even see too, like I've said before, this is a lot of these materials to make this location all come from just this base first biome. And to kind of reinforce, you can see I'm up here and I was way down in that location before I was able to do anything, or before when we started the video. So this is just the very beginning biome, and everything here was made using that beginning biome. But as you progress into all those other locations, you'll be able to tap into more of these different types of wood and all sorts of stuff like that, which is just simply base and easy to tap into. So it's interesting too to see how a lot of this is coming together. I think that just the way that they've been able to upgrade quickly has been pretty good. And they've said they want to keep a very quick upgrade cadence. They don't want to do something that is going to, hey, you know what, expect this patch 5 months from now or something. Like, no, it's going to be a pretty quick cadence, they've said, for all of that. And I think that's really great too. They've also like modified how food works here to make like cooking food a little bit more worthwhile. They've already rolled a little bit of balancing out for that. So that is what the game feels like from as far as a quick early access jump in and everything. Let me just close the video out talking about if I think it's worth it to put a lot of time into it now, or if it's better off just waiting. So to close this video out, let's talk about now just the overall vibe of everything, right? Like we've gone through, you know, what it is like playing through the game, all the different biomes, and I wanted to also close it out showing off the Arctic biome, the tundra biome. You can see that's a prefabbed building down there. That the game generated that for us, and I think it's really cool, like Viking looking dock longship location, which is really fun. And I don't know if they're going to be adding boats into the game, stuff like that, but the game does really need a lot of work as far as when you play it, you're like, man, there's so much variety, right? Like this is now thorium and cobalt. We have gold bricks. You have all this volcanic cobble that can be made into a whole bunch of different things. There's so many different variations for building, and I want that to match the sense of exploration, like I've said before. Right now, we know that, you go through a lot of these locations and it's not that they feel empty. It's that they don't feel like they've got a direction for you. Here's the tundra, but what am I really doing here? It kind of, I think it's great that you do get to go through these cool biomes and you get to sample them. But I think that's the biggest point of this video. I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play Hytale more, and I don't want to ruin the future of the game for myself. I know there's an adventure mode coming. I know the adventure mode has a story, and I'm assuming it has the RPG elements that they've talked about in the past. And with that, I don't want to get so far into this version of the game that I just don't really have an interest in coming back and playing again. And I've done that with a lot of different early access. I played Valheim for 200-300 hours a little bit after it came out, and I'm struggling to want to go back for its 1.0 launch this year. In Shrouded, I didn't really play a whole ton, and its supposed 1.0 launch is coming this year. So, wow, look at that weather pattern change into some rain. But that excites me because I didn't play a whole ton of Enshrouded, so I haven't burnt myself out on it just yet. So I think for the $20-$30 that it costs to buy this game, it's worth it to jump into it and take a look at what it's like. If you want to play for a weekend, and I think that there's more than enough here to have a great time in a weekend or 2 weekends. I've played through so much now. I don't want to go any further. I've not really explored too many of the biomes, and intentionally, I've played most of it on the first biome, and I've not really jumped into so much of the progression that I'm going to go, oh, I got to go through all those materials again. And I think that's when it comes to a game like this. Like, think of if you've put 400, 500, 600 hours into Valheim, when it launches into 1.0, you're going to be jumping into just base Valheim materials again. You're going to go, oh man, okay, I guess we're doing this. And I don't want that. I don't want that feeling. I want to jump into this game feeling fresh with every major update or things when they launch the adventure mode. They've said that they're going to be anywhere from 1 to 2 years into early access. And I think it's worth jumping into for a little bit, but I don't think it's worth staying for a long time. I was planning to do, it's like a month rollout of like 4 different videos of this style. But after I've completed so much and I've made my really cool location and I've progressed my armor and my weapons a lot, I'm like, you know what? Let me shelf this for now. I don't want to sink too much time into it. Like, this is not my house, but someone built this and it looks great. Like, this is just an idea. Just let me show you how much different like texture you get from combining all these different looking blocks here. You've got marble on this. I think that's azure or whatever it is. I don't know what that is. This I think is bath salts. Almost take some bath salts. And I mean, this is just someone's base. Someone did a really good job of just combining all these different textures. So you can have a lot of fun making a lot of really cool constructions. You can have a lot of fun exploring biomes that do feel a little hollow, and you can have a great time exploring through the progression of the game. But I think truly this game is going to become real amazing once we get closer and closer to a 1.0 launch for it. So that's of course just kind of the summary here is, if you want to jump in for a bit, you're not going to waste your time. And I think that there's going to be plenty of reason to come back to this game as it progresses through its development. But go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. How are you enjoying Hytale? Is there enough to keep you occupied here for hours, or are you in the same mentality? Do you not want to burn yourself out on it and not be able to come back and enjoy those major updates? Whatever it is, let it be known in the comment section below. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.